So, I was putting reams of paper in the printer, and it just said it just can't get enough. It just can't get enough. And the problem turned out to be that the printer was in a Depeche mode.
He saw that one coming a mile away.
Yeah, I got a little lost. I was going to Legoland, but unfortunately, due to taking things a bit too literally, I ended up in Brixton.
Oh. Fuck. It's like Jim's just passed a big joke there.
Yeah.
Oh, he's passed something, but it weren't a joke. I'll tell you that now.
It's like a huge kidney stone just passed through.
Sonics.
By the way, did you hear Apple HQ is the most secure place on Earth because it has no windows and no gates?
Doesn't need updating either.
No, and it only works for a while. Anyway, right, that's it. Enough. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Black Dog, version 2, episode 187. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
And I'm being shouted at in the office.
Are you?
Yes.
Listen, learn, think.
You have no
brain. Sweet and low, motherfucker. Anyway, yes, we'll get to that in a bit. But as ever, we'll see how everyone's week's been, and then we'll go to some feedback. Now, a little heads up for those of you just who haven't seen it yet. We did do a podcast on Sunday, didn't we, Dal?
Yes,
covering
we did.
Alien Romulus, and at the end of that, I did say, if you want to send any feedback in, do drop us a line. So people have done that. Now,
I've actually got a piece of feedback as well.
Have you?
For that.
Right,
Yeah.
we'll do that in a sec. But
Okay.
what I will say is if we mention Alien Romulus, for those of you who haven't seen it, I will be vetting it live as I read it. If I see any spoilers, it'll be... So I will not be spoiling anything. If you hear me suddenly saying alien anything, don't worry. Don't start putting your fingers in your ears and diving out of the windows and going, no, don't tell me nothing. Because I've got you covered. Don't worry. But we have got feedback, so I'm going to read it out.
Okay.
Anyway, before we get to that, he says, trying desperately to find a piece of paper.
Program tonight.
In a packed program tonight. Darren goes somewhere, Lee does something else, and Jim does something else, and we'll find out what now. So, Jim, how's your week?
Yes.
Go on.
Well, local police are attacking a break-in the local library. The only clue is a roll of sellotape. They're working on the premise to glue sniffers packed lunch.
Jesus.
Oh, very good.
The two Ronnies
Wow.
live again. There
There
you go.
Nice. Fucking coming in here with your dad jokes. God.
That made me involuntarily chuckle. That really did.
We aim to please.
I feel like I've been put in my place. I've been schooled in the dad jokes. Schooled. Right. Go on then. What's been going on?
Well, not an awful lot, to be honest.
Okay.
Just enjoying what appears to be the last of the summer weather. As it's distinctly signs of autumn coming in now with rain and wind and kind of. Yep, the days where the dog walk is actually so dogs sit down in the park in the sun are probably drawing to a close now. So that's it might be time to get the waterproof trousers out again.
Get big coat out, loft.
Big coat out.
Yeah.
Big coat.
Yeah. Long sleeve jumper. Long.
Get the layers ready.
Exactly.
Might have to put a t-shirt on.
But yeah, so there's not really done too much at all. It's all been fairly relaxed.
Okay.
I will mention we did watch a series. I think it's Netflix, Bodkin.
Bodkin. Okay.
Yes, which is kind of a black comedy crime series sort of thing. About a village where there were some disappearances in Ireland, and a true crime
I've heard of that.
podcaster goes to do a show there, and accidentally sort of meaning to starts uncovering what really happened. It's quite good because it's kind of, I felt it was a bit kind of, apart from the podcasting thing was very unrealistic. But you know what I mean? It's kind of international jet-setting podcasters who go everywhere to do a show. But apart from that, the story's good, and it's kind of, you get actually a proper sense of what real rural life's like, i.e. not like your Sunday night telly view of it, where it's all people who are sometimes a bit feral, bored out their brains, somewhat eccentric from living in the middle of nowhere. And it's set in Ireland, so you get that marvellous kind of often very foul-mouthed but very funny Irish humour.
Yeah, nice.
And kind of, if you kind of like, in Bruges and the kind of humour in that kind of movie, you'll enjoy Bodkin. But it's a really interesting sort of story, the way it unfolds, and it meanders quite a bit, but once it all starts to pull together, it is kind of like, what, really? Oh, that escalated a bit then.
Right.
But yeah, it's a refreshingly different. I mean, I've heard people describe it as folk horror, which maybe there's a touch of that there, but it's very much his own thing. It's quite idiosyncratic, and say a lot of fun, and say lots of good twists and turns, and you have no idea where it's going to go. So I'll probably zip my lip now before I give something away. But there's some good plotting, and sometimes when it is funny, there's some real laugh out loud, some black as cheeky as creative swearing Irish jokes.
Nice.
I will say there's a scene involving a stapler which is fucking hilarious and shocking at the same time.
Is it like the Father Ted one with the priest doing the toothpick Eiffel Tower, where he kind of reaches across and thinks he's picked up the phone and then flips open the stapler and just slaps it against his head and goes, "Hello?"
On so similar lines. Speaking of Father Ted, actually Mrs. Doyle's in it as well.
Oh my word!
I forget the character's name. Playing a very, very sinister character indeed. It's a bit of a shock to the system.
Oh right,
but it's all good stuff. So I recommend that.
Nice, cool, okie dokie. And that's pretty much it. Yeah,
that'll do for me. I think
that'll do for you, sir. That's fine. Like I said before, we don't all have to go on adventures every blooming week. It's cool. It's good. It's fine.
Potatoes.
Right. And so we'll move on to you, Mr. Elton. How's your week been, sir?
Well, once again, nothing much of interest, although I was planning a trip to the cinema, and then the car broke down.
Yes. Following on that's three of us now.
Yep.
In the last month. Me, Jim, you. Nice. So what happened?
It sounds like drive shaft.
Oof.
No.
Oh, no.
That's pain. That's
Well, I think it's more the mountings on the drive shaft than anything. So the engine's fine, the gearbox is fine. It's just not sending all that power to the rear wheels. So
that's not
thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
But that's not quite as bad as an entire brand new epoxy engine.
No, Jesus will heal this. I can tell.
Really?
Yes.
As long as you're not going to quick fit, you'll be fine.
One like is one prayer.
Man, this has triggered me. All I can hear now is Shaft by fucking, the
Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes there, yeah. Who's the man with the sexy private dick? No, that's the wrong lyric.
What?
Sorry.
Who's a dick? Who's a dick with the hit?
Who's the man with the sexy private dick?
No, it's
Not
who's
the
the
public
man?
Not the public dick, but a private dick.
Which private dick is a hit with all the chicks? Shaft. You damn
Shaft. Yeah, that one.
So is it being fixed then, Elton? Your shaft?
Yes. Yeah. Oh Jesus.
Your private dick? No.
Yeah, it's in the garage at the moment, but that prevented me from going to the cinema,
So,
which is, I was going to go watch the latest Alien installment.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that, but I decided
Mm-hmm.
to spoil myself.
Right.
Yeah, I spoiled myself on this film now.
Go on.
So, I listened to 3 chaps talking about it.
Oh, you didn't.
I did, yeah. Do you know what? Because I didn't want to be spoiled by some twat on Twitter or somewhere like that, just going, "Oh yeah, I'm going to spoil it for everyone." And I thought, do you know what? If I'm going to be spoiled, I might as well be by my mates. So I listened to it, yes, and
if I'm going to turn into a zombie, I'd rather be shot in the head by friends. Oh,
yeah, there you go.
It's a bit like that, isn't it? Oh,
I have thoughts now, and
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I'm going to leave it there because, I otherwise I will drop spoiler. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person.
We're not going to spoil anything to do with Alien Romulus, even when we do mention it.
But I have thoughts about this.
Okay. Okay. Because we didn't outline absolutely everything. We kind of skipped to the pertinent points, to be honest. But okay.
I heard
mean,
enough
if you want,
I have already made up my mind.
Right. Okay. What, you're never seeing it, or you are seeing it?
Oh, I'll definitely see it.
Okay. All right. Fine. Okay. Well, I'm kind of curious now, but I want to ask, but I don't want to ask with Jim around, and I certainly don't want to ask while we're recording. So
exactly, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to keep it on the fence.
Okay. Oh dear, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry.
No. You didn't spoil it. I knew what I was getting into. I kind of pulled the pins on this hand grenade myself, so that is absolutely fine. There is no harm, no foul on this whatsoever. I completely fell on this grenade, and the results are because of me. That is fine.
What we want to know is, has it saved you 20 quid, or are you still going off to see it?
I will be going off to see it, but I can't tell you if it's saving me 20 quid or not, because that would be giving away my thoughts on it, and I don't want to do that, just in case it sways other people.
Yes.
Very good. Well done.
Well done. Golf clap.
Yes, golf clap. You passed the test. You may now use the executive loos here at Backdog Towers. Here,
Finally.
take a shit with our silky toilet paper, rather than the tracing stuff we put in the plebs loo down the
I'm looking
there.
forward to using that bidet.
Yes.
Daniel Bidet Lewis, as we call him.
It fires out angels' tears into your butthole. Yes.
And gives you a gentle kiss as you dry.
It does. Well, actually, it dries you with kisses. Yes. Unicorn kisses. Yes.
Yes. It's
Watch that horn.
There you go. Immediately I can hear like at least a dozen people going on to ChatGPT trying to make a black dog B-day.
Yes.
Yes, please do that.
Black dog B-days.
Have that, Martin Thompson.
Have at it. Cool. Okie dokie. So anything else?
No, not really, I'm afraid.
No, that's fine. We don't have to have adventures every week. It's fine. Sometimes you can just all turn up and just go, nothing happened. Jump straight to the feedback. It's fine. I dream of that day. We can all go to bed early. I can go and sit there and have a shit on the black dog bidet.
Don't do it on the bidet.
Oh, you don't know what our bidet can do. It's a bidet.
Oh, you got like a bread knife next to that bidet, then?
No, it's more like a
fire axe.
Potato masher.
It's more like a food waste disposal. Just make sure you're sitting forward. That's all I'm saying.
It's like a police fucking water cannon.
It's like you're taking a dump over a sarlacc. Anyway, right, okay.
Turned it on full blast, shot over 4 buildings.
I will digest it inside its tiny maw for the next 10,000 years. Anyway, right, let's move on. Darren, how's your week been, mate?
My week has been fairly quiet. I did go to the cinema to see a film about aliens. Yes, I did.
Yes.
Starring Anton Deck. No, not that one.
I think it was Alien Uncle Remus Flakey, wasn't it?
It was. And because somebody deemed this a Black Dog podcast and not a derelict one, of course, I couldn't say that I've been on someone else's podcast.
It was.
I'm not letting that go.
It was on the feed, though.
Yeah, but it's not theirs, it's ours. So I can't say I've actually done something on someone else's podcast. You see, I still sound like, nobody wants him. That's it. They're just keeping him around on Black Dog for pity. This is it.
It is.
It's a pity podcast. That's what they do every week.
It is. It's a pity podcast. All three of us, we all go off and we all go and do creative endeavours, and then we only come back for this. We don't even publish this.
There's nobody actually listening to this podcast. You just do it to shut me up, didn't you?
We're not even
all
here.
Fucking AI bots.
We're not even
right
here.
into the fucking exactly. Who are you?
Me, Elton,
hello.
Me, Elton,
we're not
Jim,
even here.
We're down the pub. We're down the pub.
Yeah.
We're just talking to you over a single phone.
We're not even here.
We're not even here.
No, we're having a social life, Darren. That's what we're having.
We're not even here.
Now, before we actually, I know we did the cast, of course.
Yes.
To
we're not
review.
even here.
Are you not there? Then where are you, Elton? Where are you?
Sorry, he got stuck. I'll reload him. Go on.
And I am Elton.
Hello, bastards. Yeah.
AI McManus.
That's Elton's new name from now on. AI McManus.
Yeah.
There we go.
Or I, as we. Go on, Dal.
Oh, blimey. So anyway, now I did get sent a little bit sort of feedback for the actual cast, very tiny bit. I've got a bit.
You got sent feedback, like personal feedback.
Yeah. Exactly. From one of our listeners, Christopher Cooper, who's a friend of mine,
Right.
who said, now he sent me one just before we did it, because he didn't know we were actually going to be doing a special cast. But he said, so, Alien Romulus, obnoxious fan film, possibly knocked up by AI.
Yeah, go on.
No, he's not given any of the plot away or anything like this. Are supporting together lines and screens from Wikipedia. I look forward to the professionals' review. Need to know if you truly am a fan of the original franchise. And then, after he'd listened to it, he said, vindication, thank you and your brilliant team. My team, you see.
Your brilliant team.
My brilliant team, yeah.
Well, allow me to inform you, Chris, that it's my team. And I'll thank you to remember that in future correspondence.
Now he did.
Yeah, go on.
He did add one little piece to the end of it, which I think is funny, but I don't know if this is. I don't think this is a spoiler. It's just a couple of lines, right?
Dude.
Okay.
Oh God!
Dude,
Oh no!
dude.
Oh no!
Yep.
Yeah, it's only a couple of lines. I am your father.
I am your father.
Yeah.
So,
seriously, look. I tell you what. Before you say anything, just
do you want me to send you a message?
No. Send yourself back a couple of weeks.
Yep. No, I'm not going to say it because
I was going to say to when you.
I'm not going to. No, what I'll do is I will send you, because you've seen the film, right?
Yes.
So have I.
Yes.
Okay, the other two people here haven't. There are people out there who haven't. Like I say, when you see it, you might think, "Oh, yeah, that maybe is a spoiler."
Go on,
but yeah, I think it's quite a fun. No, as I say, I'll send you it on the message.
Okay,
right, you can see it for yourself.
Yeah, but, don't put it in the chat on the Zencaster. Fucking idiot!
Just fucking wide broadcast on Facebook. There we go.
Oh, good Lord. Send it to me on
Highly
WhatsApp.
trained professionals.
Highly trained professionals.
Email everyone.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Mail to all. Send to all. Yeah. You know they managed to send monkeys into space, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, go on in. Anyway, beyond that piece of feedback, sir, what else has been going on?
Nothing much, really.
Okay.
Not much at all. Let's see, what have I been doing? Oh, I've been watching a lot of the roast battles, the British version of Roast Battle, which I've been finding absolutely hilarious. I think the British version is actually more brutal than the American one. Because one of the judges on this is Jimmy Carr. So, you know, it really does cut to the quick on some of the jokes.
Right.
And it's like, are you allowed to say that? But yes, yeah, absolutely great. They're all on YouTube at the moment. So, yeah, there we go.
Nice.
What else? I've been continuing to watch Staged as well. I'm into season 2, and I love what they've done with season 2, how it is they've set season 2 up, how the angle that they're coming from on this. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but it's a nice little, it's a great way of doing it, I think.
Right.
But yeah, so again, Staged, still thumbs up from me. Still loving it.
Nice.
Looking forward to getting through that, and then seeing season 3 and getting to the end of it. So I don't know if they could ever do a season 4, seeing as we don't have lockdown anymore. But I mean, you know, it could be. We could have them all operating in different parts of the world, zooming in that way.
Yeah. Well, season 4 is basically Good Omens, isn't it?
They do mention Good Omens in it. It does get a mention. But yeah, so there you go. That was my week, basically.
Yeah.
Not very exciting.
Okay, that's cool. No worries. Cool. Right. Well, my week, obviously Alien Romulus, but there's a sort of slight side to that. I mean, firstly, I was going to go and see it. My brain was like, I am not going to see this movie in a fucking cinema full of screaming teenagers. I just can't do it. So my brain was like, right, find the earliest screening you can find. And the earliest screening I could find was in Bromley, and it was a 9 o'clock showing, like 9 a.m. And I'm thinking, fucking mint. That's absolutely bang on. You know, everyone else is, you know, all the teens are going to be knocked out of their heads on fucking blue WKD and you know, premarital sex. So I'm like, right, fine, that's good. I'm happy. I'll have that. I get to the cinema, the cinema with my £9 ticket, only to find out that the building that's above the Bromley view had a small, well, I say small, a fire. And and because the cinema actually sits in the basement underneath this thing, obviously they were still clearing up all the water damage and stuff, and so it wasn't going to be open until 6 o'clock in the evening. And I'm like, fuck it, no, fuck it. So
it was probably them teens on the Wicked who got drunk in
exactly
waiting for the premarital sex.
Or
maybe that was it. Maybe they knocked something over during the premarital sex. Who knows?
Exactly. On their irresponsible lemon hooch.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Hooch-filled premarital sex. There we go.
Exactly. Drinking their Smirnoff
Take
ices.
that, Martin Thompson.
Drinking their Smirnoff ices.
No, we don't need that. No, not in the black dog.
ChatGPT will stop you. No.
Exactly.
Anyway, so I thought, well, fuck it. I'm going to get on the train and go to the next cinema that I can get a ticket for at the earliest possible screening. And it turned out to be 10 o'clock, Leicester Square. And it's like, right, 10 o'clock, Leicester Square. What is it? Now, bearing in mind, I paid £9 for this ticket in Bromley, and I was going to get it refunded. And I'm like, right, cool. 30 fucking quid.
For what?
For the screening in Leicester Square.
Ouch.
Ouch,
for
indeed. What? Just for the screening. Just to go in there. Go in and watch the film.
To turn up, just to grace the thing with your presence.
Yes.
Just for the privilege of walking through a door. How much was it to actually watch the film after that?
It was 10p a minute. It was on an 08989.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, because I'm pretty sure they probably sold Freddos in this place. How much was a Freddo in this? Was it like, because you can always tell the economy of a country. What?
I could have bought a car with 2 Freddos.
Jesus, man.
But anyway, so I went in there, and unsurprisingly, at 10 o'clock in the morning in Leicester Square, the cinema was completely and utterly empty.
Oh, right.
Beautiful.
It was like, okay.
Gorgeous.
Do you know what? I'm happy with this. The air conditioning's on. It's quiet. It's a fucking IMAX screen. It's filling my field of view. Beautiful. The film starts. Lights dim. It all goes quiet. I'm thinking, brilliant. And one guy comes in. He comes in with his light on his phone. And he comes in and he walks up all the stairs. Now, bearing in mind, I'm at the very, very back. I'm at N45, smack bang in the middle at the back. He comes in, walks up the stairs, sits down at N41. He could have sat absolutely anywhere. He sat at N41 and he sat there, and I thought, you fucker. And I could hear him, and all I can hear is kind of, you know, the with the packet of crisps and you know, okay. All this sort of shit.
I've got a story. I've got something to share with you when you've done this. Talking about noisy fucking customers. Yes, go on. Sorry. Anyway.
But anyway, so but you know what? He settles down, and I'm thinking, you know what? Okay, fine. And every now and again, things are happening, and people are jumping. Well, I say people are jumping. It's just me and this other guy, and I'm thinking, great, cool. Anyway, finally, credits roll. Light comes up. I turn around, look around, and it's a freelancer that I used to work with at Cartoon Network 12 years ago.
Jesus.
I'm like, Matt? And he goes, Medcalf? I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, oh, Raggy? Scoop? Raggy? But anyway, yeah. So it was quite the massive coincidence that somehow, you know, I managed to, and we caught up, and it was really cool.
You sat there hating him. You sat there hating him for most of the film.
I sat there hating him for most of the film, yeah. But because I was hyper aware that any noise that he made, I was going to be like, it's only you and me. It's only you and me in this house.
No one will know.
No one will know. But anyway, no, I hated him even more because by the end, he said, oh, let's go for lunch. So he's like, right, okay, cool. Went for lunch. And he's catching me up on all the guys who've left and I missed and, you know, where they've gone and all this sort of thing. And he laid out basically the entire smorgasbord of the entire department of where they all are because he's still in contact with them. And it's like, I came away thinking, I'm the only one who isn't still doing shit like that anymore. I mean, like one guy now is working for Larian doing stuff for Baldur's Gate. Another guy,
wow.
Yeah. And this guy I was speaking to, he's been working on all the on-screen graphics for all the Star Wars things for the last, 8 years. It's like, nice. And he goes, what are you doing? I'm like, air conditioning. Yay. Brilliant. So, yeah. But anyway, on the plus side, he took me to this very, very swanky sort of members-only club in Soho. Yeah, don't say it. Really? I know where you're already going. No.
Would it be a member of the wildlife community that has a slightly minty taste to it?
No, it doesn't. It was not one of those kind of clubs. It was more one of those kind of ball-blood sort of high back, wing back chairs sort of places where you're weighted on hand and foot and they don't give you drinks of water. They give you hydration, sir. Hydration. Yeah. So yeah, and luckily he paid for lunch because it was fucking expensive. So I went to that. So that was good. Caught up with him. Found out a few things which I won't discuss on this podcast right now. And then other than that, I've watched 2 other films. By the way, I'm not going to say how I felt about Alien. The podcast illustrated that perfectly. The one we did. Just go see it for yourselves. That's all I'll say. We'll talk about it another time. I saw 2 other films. I saw one which was called Confess Fletch. Have you heard of this?
Is that the one with John Hamm in it?
Yes, it is.
Yes, playing Fletch.
Playing Fletch. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. It's a detective story. It's a comedy detective film. It's pretty damn charming, mainly because John Hamm is kind of pretty charming. And he does the Fletch kind of character a lot better than the smug kind of eyebrow waggling Chevy Chase. And the plot's a bit convoluted, but by the end, it kind of the wheels fell off because it turned from a sort of like nice guys kiss kiss bang bang style detective story into something a bit more slapstick. Whoops, where's me trousers, Mrs. kind of sort of running about and everyone screaming at everyone while the music goes, right. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. So it was 2/3 of a good film, and then it kind of went a bit off the rails. Which is a shame because I think they could have made another couple of these with him as Fletch because he was very good in it. The other one I watched, which came from the foreign film shelf of Cinema Equidistant, is a film called Sleep.
Okay.
And it's a Korean 2023 black comedy horror mystery thriller by its own description. And to cut a very long story short, I'll see how you guys feel about it, because once it stops being in Cinema Equidistant and becomes Cinema Amazon, which I suspect it will be, we might do it. But essentially, there's this couple. They're about to have their first baby. The lady needs to get her sleep, but she can't because her husband, he snores. And then what happens is he starts to sleepwalk. And she will be looking at him and he'll be looking at her while sleepwalking, and he isn't the same person at all.
Ooh.
And she starts to worry about him, and they try to investigate what's going on. And there's kind of hints that there may be something supernatural going on. There's also hints that he may be having a mental breakdown at the anxiety of having a newborn baby, and the work he's putting in is affecting him. But he starts to do some very strange things while he's sleepwalking. And she starts to really get paranoid about what's going on and worrying about the safety of herself and the baby and him, in fact, because at one point he just gets up, stands there and starts scratching himself all over. And then every now and again lying down on the bed beside her, staring blank-eyed into space, going and you're like, oh, this isn't good. This isn't good. And yeah, it ain't. That's what I'm saying. It's a Korean, comedy horror thriller thing. It's got atmosphere and oodles of it, and it's got a feeling of dread running through it every time it gets to kind of night, dear. And you're like, oh God, what's going to happen now? And you know that kind of unnerving thing in what was it? Paranormal Activity. That scene.
Yes, yeah.
You know that bit
walking.
when she sort of stands up and she just kind of goes off for a little wander and kind of comes back and then spends like 8 hours just standing there staring at him lying in bed.
Yep.
Imagine that kind of vibe. Except, it's a 2023 movie. It hasn't come out over here, hence Cinema Equidistant. But it's interesting. It's it's got things to say about anxiety. It's got things to say about trust. It's got things to say about couples and how much they worry about each other. It's got things to say about the worry of newborn couples, what's going to happen with the baby and all this kind of thing. How how paternal and maternal things all suddenly start to change when things start to go awry. It's got a lot of layers to it. I don't know if it's entirely successful, but it's an interesting one. It's well worth a look.
Okay,
Yeah,
piqued
good.
my interest.
Sleep. Yes, I'll yeah. It's hold on. I will put the IMDb copy of that into the Zencaster chat, so you may look at it at your leisure. There you go. So there you go. It's well worth a look, even if you might not necessarily find it as scary as the premise makes it sound, but it's certainly worth a look. It's certainly interesting enough. So, right, here we go. Let's get to the Facebook page, and we will go into feedback now. He says blocking for time because Zencaster can sometimes fall over. Right. So, oh good lord, bloody Facebook! Why are you fucking me about? Fucking sodden, fucking silly, fucking technical issue, cunty, fucking piece of shit. Right. Anyway. Talk amongst yourselves. So, first bit of feedback we had for Maniac Cop. We reviewed Maniac Cop last week, and we had Sean Gleason on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/The Black Dog Podcast, and he said Maniac Cop reminds me of those low expectation, low budget movies from the 80s and early 90s, much like the Trauma films, but also Tom Atkins is a really nice guy in person, and he showed a picture, and there he is with Tom Atkins, the guy who got thrown out the window, the police detective.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Which is very nice. So that's quite cool. We also had Michael Wilding write in to say, big question after I had watching this week's film. Who hurt you, Darren? If you need help, there's easier ways of asking. This was such a boring film with terrible acting. The only positive thing was the ending, because it was over. And I agree with Jim, it could be a good film if it was remade. So there you go. So thank you very much for that, Michael. So who did hurt you, Darren?
You did.
Right. Well,
If anybody wants to know, I'll show them on the Darren Diamond doll where you did the hurting.
If you didn't get your fucking dinner wrong, I wouldn't have to. But anyway,
ooh, that went dark. That's an interesting intellectual study, which we made of that. Well, the last statement there. Yes.
Yeah, just keep walking into that door. Anyway, tell him you fell down the stairs. Instead, spaceship. He just went albatrosses, thousands of them, which is in relation to how's your week from last week, which saw me spend a considerable amount of time saving Elton's job.
Sorry, but well done as well.
Moving on to the Alien Romulus special. We did have some feedback there as well. Like I say, I will keep completely spoiler-free. So, first one we had was Murray Christensen, who say, I still lay a lot of the franchise's issues discussed in this cast down to Hollywood being full of risk-averse money men. A franchise that has built a base of people who will take a look just because it's part of a franchise. So studios prefer these as it is seen as a safe option. I also consider if I wanted to make Outland, assuming someone has not made it before, someone may have suggested that it has something to do with the Corporation Weyland-Yutani, which is fine. I'd love to see more in-universe stuff sans aliens. However, I reckon after making my pitch, the first note which would come back would be, where's the alien? And no amount of, no, that's not the story, would persuade people who are giving me the money. So I end up putting my alien in a high noon in space story, and the end result would look like a film with an alien taped onto it. Other notes would probably include, have one of the power loaders, and we need a scene with a scanner going beep. I reckon this kind of stuff happens a lot. By the way, I'm including those because, just so you know, because there is no power loaders and is no scanner going beep thing. So don't worry about that. Andy Mack wrote in that great Aliens chat. I think Andy nailed it with his committee remarks. And as the following clip shows, which he links to a clip with Ridley Scott, Ridley had notes to give his protege after watching the first cut. Ben Rush said, I agree with the teabag effect. The teabag effect, for those who didn't listen to the podcast, is something I put forward, which is a film where the more you stew on it, the more stronger your opinion becomes.
Gotcha.
So there you go. Teabag effect. I have the teabag effect on this film. I've stewed on it for a while and my opinions have become quite strong.
Not to be confused with the teabagging effect.
Exactly. And then finally we had one written in from Pete Collins who said, and now this one I'm going to have to edit on the fly. He said, "Hi, Black Dog Podcast. I was listening to the Alien Romulus review and something struck me. Darren said the opening of the film was ruined by someone eating popcorn loudly with their mouth open. I had exactly the same thing." And then he mentions about going to a Cineworld in a certain area. he said he wonders if it was the same place. I won't say anything where it is. He says if it was, he promises he won't stalk you, Darren, if it turns out to be the same cinema.
No.
As for the film, with only a passing memory of Alien films, I enjoyed it. It felt well executed. I'm going to skip the next bit. It wasn't until I listened to the review that I understood what it was like. I'm not going to say the words because, again, it might skew people's perception of things. I still think I still put it as the third best Alien film, but that's not saying much. As for Maniac Cop, I didn't watch it. I was going to, but I had heard it was good. But then I realised I was thinking of Bad Lieutenant, so I stopped. Catch you next time, Pete Collins. Thank you, Pete, and sorry for butchering your feedback on Alien. I will pass on the bits and pieces to the other guys so they can read it. I think they'll agree. There you go. So, as ever, if anyone else has any feedback to send in, be it on Alien Romulus or any other thing, do let us know. Send it in to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, and please try and avoid spoilers where possible. Or you can leave feedback at the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast. Also, once I mentioned a couple of weeks back that we were thinking about doing a Deadpool Wolverine spoiler cast, and then David Renane was the only person who asked for it. It now turns out, according to the Facebook group, that there are more than that. We've had quite a few people asking for it. Michael Wilding, Scott Matheson, the Profanabard, as he used to be known. Michael Wilding said, having seen the new Deadpool movie today, I would love to hear what you guys think about it. Not here, don't want to spoil it for anyone. We also had that was liked by a number of people, and we also had, he said, going through the page in live time because this is really great radio, always makes great radio. As I scroll through Facebook, man scrolls through Facebook to find thing.
Has everyone seen Deadpool Wolverine then?
I have.
I have
also.
Having a knackered immune system, cinema is out for me, sadly, still.
That's fine. That's fine. No, I can't find the other ones. There were a few others, but I will look for them. But don't worry, we heard you. I will see if I can arrange something before I go on holiday. And with Darren, if you're up for it then, mate.
Oh, yes, I am.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll see if we can do something before this Friday. If that's okay.
Yep, that's fine.
Lovely. Cool. Right. Okay. Well, we'll look at that and come back to you on that one. Right. So, we'll leave it there. And I think we shall just roll the jingle and then we'll come back with a cup of coffee, cream, sugar, sweet and low, with Swimming with Sharks. Roll the jingle.
Ooh, we're watching a new movie we've never seen before. I'm buttering my nipples and waxing my ass. Roll up the Mystery Monica film. Roll up for the Mystery Monica film. Roll up
Masturbation.
for the Mystery Monica film. Roll up for the Mystery Monica film. The Mystery Monica film is waiting for us to hit play. Going to watch it today. What will we say?
Right, so Swimming with Sharks, also known as The Boss and also known as The Buddy Factor, is a 1994 American satire film written and directed by George Huang. Starring Kevin Spacey. I'm not going to start doing all that thing I did last week. I think we got away with it last time. I'm not going to do it now. Frank Wally and Michelle Forbes. The film tells the story of an influential movie mogul who hires a guy called Guy, who is a naive young writer, and how he becomes slowly corrupted by his toxic boss's influence and the influence of the Hollywood system around him. The movie, as I said, was released in 1995 and had a budget of $700,000, probably for the lawsuit. No, anyway, no, sorry, stop it. Anyway, $700,000 was the budget. The box office. What was the box office, Jim?
I'd say 5 million boxes of Sweet and Low.
Nice.
Sweet chariot.
Coming for to carry me home. No, stop it. Anyway, Elton.
I reckon 100,000 copies of Time magazine.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Darren.
4 paper cuts and a real shitty haircut.
Well, actually, you're all wrong. It's actually the phone number for Mitzi, and she'll be there at midnight. No, the box office was actually $382,000. So even with less than $1 million for the budget, it still flopped by taking less than half its budget. So yeah, did not do well. It's almost like Hollywood didn't like a mirror being reflected at itself. No. Anyway, so before we get going into the spoilers, let's go round the table. Elton, this was your pick, so you go last.
Okay.
So no spoilers. Quick overview. What did you think about the movie, Jim?
I quite liked it, although I must admit, without giving spoilers, it went to some place I wasn't quite expecting, and thought, "Oh, that's a bit dark, isn't it?"
Yeah.
But you know, that's a good thing. I like a film that surprises me. Yeah. I say it's one of those films that I did like it, but saying, "Oh, I really enjoyed that," sounds a bit weird.
Yeah, for sure. Okie dokie. Darren, what about you?
Again, I found it entertaining. Yeah, that was, I suppose, really, it actually portrayed the dream of a lot of people who've got bosses that aren't very nice.
Cool. For me, it was how long was this thing? It was
It's only an hour and a half.
I was going to say, it was a 93-minute anxiety attack. Because, I have encountered people very like that in the 3 studio jobs I did. And yes, they are absolutely repellent and loathsome and disgusting and horrible, manipulative, vicious, slimy, conniving, snide, evil fucks. luckily, one of them's dead, so that's good. Yeah, but yeah, so for me, it was enjoyable from a point of view of a movie, but it wasn't enjoyable in the point of view of basically I started to have that cold sweat of been here, done that, seen that, heard that, watched that, been in the middle of that, hate that. So yeah. The last half of it, without spoilers, was pretty much wish fulfillment for, I imagine, probably 90% of the Hollywood engine. But there you go. So it was. I won't say that I enjoyed it. I'll just say that I appreciated it. But I didn't enjoy it. It made me feel cold and clammy, and which is probably a success.
God, that's like 2 of my choices on the bounce already, isn't it? Sorry about that.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, it's just what it is, isn't it? You run into people like that in that industry. I mean, I can tell you a couple of things about 1 or 2 jobs that I did, and maybe that will give you an idea. But anyway, maybe that'll come up later. What about you, Elton? What did you think?
So this is a film I've been wanting to watch ever since I found the internet. I was unaware of it since when it came out in '94. So yeah, I would have been still at school when this came out. And yeah, I heard about it on various movie review shows back in the day, and I was like, okay, that's something to put a pin in. And I put a pin in it, and it never really came up again until I found it this time, and I flipping loved it. Absolutely. Kevin Spacey, what a performance.
Yes.
Absolute top 10 performance this is flipping awesome stuff. I can see I haven't been shouted like that at work. Oh, well, maybe once or twice, but that's about it. It's not like a day-to-day occurrence.
No.
But I've been made to feel like that in other ways, definitely. So I get jittery with it, but not too bad. But overall, I thought it was just a fabulous movie that I'm going to watch again and again and again. It's short enough for you to watch it. Just stick it in the background and listen to it. It's just works for me. So yeah, this is going to be on repeat for me constantly now.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Cool. Well, there you go. So you've heard our thoughts. We're going to just play a couple of jingles just to give you a bit of space so you understand we're in the spoiler zone. If you haven't seen it, do pause the podcast, go over to watch it. I think it's for rent on Apple TV, and it's available for free if you don't mind adverts, and quite a few of them on Pluto TV.
Yes, well,
we're going to stand back.
Stand back.
Stand back.
The emergency disrupt system is now activated. The ship will detonate in T-minus 10 minutes.
So, Pluto TV.
Yeah, go on.
Wow. Okay, so I don't know if anyone else had this problem with watching this film on Pluto TV, but it felt like you were watching a VHS copy that had been filmed on a Motorola Razr, then Bluetooth to an iPod 5 iPod thing, compressed, dragged and dropped into a folder, which was then emailed to the guy from Will It Blend. It was then blitzed and defragged, sent to PC World for maintenance. It was then dragged across rare earth magnets, across the bottom of the Thames, put into a birthday card with money in it. It was then posted. The postman nicked the money and threw the envelope into the bush. The bush was then set on fire. It was also pissed on by a fox. Callback. The fire brigade came along and stamped out the fire. The council then dug up the bush and sent it off for compost in, which they didn't do. They fly tipped it onto someone's grave field. It was then grown into a tree. That tree was then cut down 50 years later, and some idiot drew a picture of a shouty man on it saying, "This is your copy of this film." Sorry. I'm sorry about Pluto TV. That is awful.
Sorry,
I go to Cinema Equidistant.
The sound cut out. Could you repeat that, Elton? I didn't catch that. I'm sorry, mate. It just went. I don't know what happened there.
Sorry, you're going to have to download this episode and rewind it yourself.
Oh, God, I haven't got to listen to everyone again, have I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to start. You got to start from number one and work your way up.
No,
I didn't have a problem with it.
No?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No.
Just me then?
I think so.
Looks like it. Yeah,
It was crystal clear HD for me, mate.
God damn it.
made my fucking eyes bleed. It was that beautiful.
It was. I've never seen a movie from 1994 in such high, clean, crisp resolution as that. It was almost like they...
4K. This was your 16K. This was.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I could literally see the labels on his tie.
Did you guys get a copy and share it around without me? Because I had to watch it on Pluto and it was awful. It was like watching a VHS.
Well, the signal shit out there. It really is.
Yeah. No.
Oh, not the planet. You meant. Sorry.
Yeah. It takes about 20. It takes about 2 hours and 50 to get out there, doesn't it? I watched it.
Buffering, and then it's an advert. You're like, for fuck's sake!
No, I did have one digital break, and then it jumped back to Judge Judy for some reason I didn't quite understand.
Oh.
I reset the app on my PlayStation 5. I reset my router, and then it was perfectly fine.
Did you get a crystal? What's going on with my... I'm going to have a look. That's not on. I felt like I had a 250 by 300 version playing.
Well, it was transcribed. It was transcoded from VHS, so it's not going to be like HD or nothing. But it was fine. It was like watching a standard standard VHS on YouTube. It was fine.
It was like stinging nettles rubbed into my eyes.
But you do have a 4K TV that's about 70 feet across.
It's true, yes.
So every pixel that you have is about the size of a house brick. When it's like that.
I'm weak for you. I really do. Your smallest violin.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I'm sure if I took standard HD TV and blew it up to the size of an IMAX, it would look like dog shit.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as it goes, Elton, I think this is just your attempt to just shame us with how wonderful your telly is.
No, it's not.
If I'm honest, I feel
my
like
incompetence on actually getting a good copy. I should have just gone down to our price and bought a copy. Really,
our price? What did you have a time machine?
No,
fucking our price.
Our price.
When was the last time you actually went into town, Elton? I just want to know. I'm just interested, mate.
I passed the B-Jams and Romulus as I went to our price. I'll have you know.
And the Richard Sounds.
Yeah.
Did you notice that Woolworths was missing from the high street?
Yeah, C&A. How was that?
Yeah, C&A, yep.
Fucking Rumbelows.
Stopped off for a wimpy.
Mother Care, that kind of thing. No? Yeah.
Mother Care?
Yeah, that's gone.
That's gone.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to go get a stroller on the way back, but I forgot my kids are adults now.
Well, they wouldn't have been if you travelled back in time.
That's very true.
Indeed.
Yes.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Did you didn't stop off and get a suit from Mr. Byrights or anything like that on the way, no?
Top Man.
Top
Burton's.
Fucking hell, Price.
Okay.
That's blown my mind. That really has. Somebody did. Wow. It's like Captain America. Isn't it? He's Steve Rogers. That's what I'm going to be calling him.
He's just woken up from the 1940s.
Oh, I got that reference. Yeah.
He's woken up from the 1940s and gone, hold on. Do they still do powdered egg?
Do you know what? I haven't seen stand up in ages. Yes.
God, I
want to go and see that Arthur Askew bloke. Yes.
Yeah. I love that those two vaudevillians, up and comers, that Laurel and Hardy. I hope they're doing well. Anyway. Right.
Anyway, so spoiler zone then, yes?
Oh yeah, spoiler zone. Hold on, sorry, here we go.
Baby. Put your helmet on. We'll be reaching speeds
to Canada.
Shut up, Wesley.
Right. Okay, so here we are in the spoiler zone. I don't know what else. Hold on. Just for the hell of it.
There will now be a short intermission.
Why not? Just why not?
Yeah, do it.
Have an albatross. I'm just going to stop it there. I don't want to do that. Anyway, right. So, albatross. Let's get started. So, firstly. What did you think of the characters? And I am asking that because they're all ultimately pretty repellent.
I was going to say, You asked me, what do I think of the characters? How many times am I allowed to say cunt?
Oh, as many as you like. I think the Black Dog record is about 18 when I was talking about Scott Pilgrim or, was it A Fifth Element? But, yeah, go for it. What do you think, Jim?
Well, it's kind of, they're all it's sliding scales of monster, isn't it? There's Spacey as the top end. Guy at the beginning, he's the bottom end.
Yeah,
but gets worse as the film goes on, and his girlfriend's sort of always in the middle. But as it actually goes on, she's sliding down the scale of being more human the more you get to know her. The person who can act best is Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
Who seems actually quite nice.
That's because he fucks off after 10 minutes in the movie.
Well, that's it, because he's D-Mob happy. I'm out of here. I'm away.
Peace out. Okay. What about you, Dal? How are you feeling about them?
Yeah, I'd have to say they were pretty sort of pretty different levels of cunt. Yeah, with Spacey being at the penthouse, and of course, again, the main character himself starts off very low, but slowly works his way up. Especially, you can see him turning into Spacey's character at the beginning of the film when he's sitting there with those other guys, the other hangers-on. It's already it's like it's set in there. And then of course is girlfriend who goes the other way. I agree with that. She does slide the other way. So yeah, maybe she got to being a big enough cunt and then just thought, oh no, I can't hold on any longer, and started going the opposite direction. Maybe that was it.
Oh, okay, cool. Elton?
So Buddy is at the top. He's the apex bastard. But I flipping love him. When he's on screen, you just can't take your eyes off of him. I think he's absolutely mesmerising all the way through.
I think with Kevin Spacey, you're always wise never to take your eyes off him.
Always be standing in a crowd.
Yep.
Guy, I think he's possibly the weakest of all of them, because at some point I can't really believe him turning like that towards the very end. It just doesn't feel earned as much.
Really?
Yeah, I think he needs to be a bit of a bastard. You don't really see him be a bit of a bastard. You kind of see it starting to grow, but it's not quite there yet. It's not fully formed just yet. And yet,
by the end, though, I think he's gone for gold, though, and if not platinum. If my reading of the end is right, of what he's actually done.
Yes, exactly.
But I think he's going for it. I don't think he's there though yet.
Are you kidding?
I think he's acting it. I don't think he's there because when he walks into Kevin Spacey's office at the very end, he looks like a told off puppy, and I don't think he's there yet.
I think it's because Kevin Spacey's still got some kind of control over him. That's what
he's got all the control over him.
Yeah.
He's his bitch, and that's it. He's his bitch forever, and I don't think he can be that buddy. He's nowhere near there. He wants to act it, he'll play the part of it, but he won't be buddy. And that's the thing. People think that they are under buddy, and then they move on and they become buddy, and other people have become the new buddy, whereas he will never ever get there, I don't think. And Dawn, I think she gets nicer the higher her fringe goes up. It starts off right across her eyebrows, and then by the time she's in her apartment with Guy, it's right up in the air, and that means that she's a good girl.
Yeah,
but then she falls at the very last hurdle.
Well, we'll get to Dawn in a minute. I think. I mean, for me, I found all of the characters to a certain degree loathsome. I found it interesting that you start off by thinking, you see Dawn and you think, what the hell? You know, that's your first short shot shock into sort of studio life of, I've earned that fucking space. You get out of my space. I'm not talking to you. I'm not being nice to you. Fuck off. I've got a job to do. I'm important, air of importance, all that kind of crap. And like I say, I may come back to this a lot, but I especially when I was at Elstree, I saw a lot of that. The thing I find interesting is that what happens to the audience when you look at the characters is that Dawn doesn't change. What happens is we as the audience recalibrate what is tolerable and what isn't based on Buddy and Guy and how they react to each other.
Okay.
And so she sort of stays level, but she hasn't got any better. She hasn't improved anything because, and this is my next question. Do you think she really did love Guy? Or, as the film kind of posits and suggests and implies, she only got with Guy to get her script through the door until she was in too deep with him, and then the script goes to the other producer, the Gale or whatever it is that we don't ever see.
It's Stella.
Stella, that's it, Stella. I was going to say Gale, but yeah, sorry, Stella. Because I think that's the thing that people forget. Buddy is so super toxic that all eyes are on him.
Actually,
yeah, go on.
I think I've got an answer to that.
Go on, him.
And she does something that he can't see that says to me that she's actually genuinely likes him. It's when they hug, she closes her eyes. Now he can't see that, right? If you're not really that, you don't really care about someone. You don't sort of like get lost in a hug or anything when they can't see what you're looking at. Okay, this is it. You don't put that on. Whereas, this is her feeling genuinely like, she wants to be there with him. So I think she actually did care for him. Yeah. It's just that what she does, her actual face when he can't see it and she, they're hugging. there's a bit where they cuddle up close, they cuddle up, and you just see the look of the look of joy on her face. So I think she did. She did actually love him.
Is that like the was it film shorthand of if someone's got an Apple iPhone, they're not a bad guy?
No, this is the thing. Why would you, if you were trying to put this on, right? If you were trying to fake it, why would you go that far when they can't see what you're doing? How are they going to know?
Wow,
that's it. This is a genuine reaction, I think, and I think she did love him.
I think towards the end she did, and it's that moment where Guy turns around and says about. Oh, it's one of the quotes. I forget all the quotes in this, but you got to fuck around to find out or something. I forget what it was. There was a couple of a line that kept coming up.
You got to give some action to get some action.
That's it, yes. And then you can see her face just drop on that, as if, oh shit, yeah, that's it. He's gone now. But by that time, she'd already fallen for him, and. With that kick to the curb, then you have that phone conversation with Spacey and Guy on the phone. And she decides, screw it, if he's going to be like that to me, then I'll go over and see Buddy.
Again, is she going over there to see Buddy to screw over Guy, or is she going over there to save Guy?
I think she's going over there for a bit of bumpy with Buddy.
Which is
I
true.
think she's going to save him.
Yeah,
I think she's going over to as a sacrifice to. Yeah, I think it's a bit like having a demon and an angel arguing over a soul, and that's what you've got here. You've got these two forces pulling at him. You got the force for good, and you got the force for evil.
Okay.
You know,
I mean,
and it's Buddy being. The demon or the devil, and yeah.
Because one thing I was going to say was the. I mean, this film has got some dark old views on gender politics and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, but so you got to just kind of go, it's what it is. It was of the time and all that kind of thing. But it's also saying a lot about the whole casting couch. I suppose you can look at it now through this lens of like Harvey Weinstein and all that kind of thing. But she does in effect go into Buddy's office earlier on, right towards the start of the film. And then they draw the curtains, and then when Guy doesn't interrupt them, and she just goes, I don't think you wanted to be interrupted by the phone call while we were having our conversation, so there's already that there's a kind of, sort of like casting couch kind of transactional thing going on there. So I do think Buddy pulling his kind of like, pulling it out and kind of going, come to me, or, maybe Guy's going to, maybe Guy will lose his job. I think she is going to sacrifice herself for him. Because she's done it for other things. She's done it for a script. She's done it for jobs. She's, and as Buddy's kind of implies, she's done it for everything. No judgment, just saying that's the way he says it, the way he sells it. So the idea that she goes off to do it is, I think she's going off to do it to save Guy.
But at that time, Buddy had already turned around and said, right, okay, fine, no, he's gone. He's gone. Don't worry about it. Now you can come over. Now the coast is clear for you to come over.
Yeah, but that's just shonky posturing, because that's the same as earlier on when he puts the phone down and he says, "Oh, do you want that in Plimsoll or Loafer?"
Yeah.
Do you want that soul in Plimsoll or Loafer? Just say it with me, because you're going to be working in a fucking shoe shop.
So many fucking great lines in this.
And then he slams the phone down, counts to 5, and then waits for the phone call to come back. And he goes, "Oh, I'm glad you see it my way now."
Yeah.
And so it's a power play.
Do you think it's all manipulation? Absolutely every single line out of everyone's mouth is a manipulation on what they can try and get.
Yeah. Yeah. Without a doubt. Everything. There's not one single serious threat in the whole lot, but the threats are there as a kind of posturing, thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, here we go. Let's put it this way, right? I was on a job at Elstree and been working. Well, at that point, I'd done like an entire week and not gone home. And the lead CG guy at the time had basically had enough, and he'd fucked off and walked out. And he literally just dropped his mouse. He just stood up, looked the director in the eye, and just went and laughed at him, and then left. After that, the director just took it out on me on everything. So it was like, oh, I want it green. You sit there, re-render everything. It takes 3-4 hours a frame. And you go, no, red. And you go, you said green. He said, look, I want it red. And you go, right, okay, you re-render the whole fucking lot because you didn't have After Effects at the time. It wasn't invented. And you re-render everything. And then he looks at it and he goes, sit down. So you're sitting down, you're kind of hollow-eyed, you haven't slept fucking wink for like 72 hours. And he goes, I'm just trying to make this right. I'm just trying to make this work right. And I can't do it without you. I need you to work this. And it's like, okay, right, fine. What do I need to do? And he goes, just make it green. So then I made it green again because I didn't have the storage space to make the renders.
Yep.
So I re-rendered it, overwrote everything, made it green again. He comes in the next day, fresh as a fucking daisy, with a reporter or a journalist, I say, from SFX magazine. He sat down, sat her in front of it, and said, "This is my vision." And I showed her the 25 frames I'd just taken all night to render. And he went, "Right, let's go get lunch." And he took her by the hand, fucked off out, never saw him again for the rest of the day. He came back in and went, "Why the fuck did you make it green?"
Right.
And yeah, and I went through that over and over and over again until the DTI came in and shut the whole fucking lot down. Now the fat fuck's dead, so that's good. Anyway. But
that'll
it's
learn
a bit
him.
like that joke, isn't it? Where you say, "Well, when I was at school, my teacher told me I would never get into writing. He said I'd be a disaster at it." And I now can say that after many years of studying, I can say with pride that he's dead.
There aren't many people I really genuinely wish dead, but the fact that he is makes me happy, and I just hope he suffered all the way. But anyway, but I'm just saying the whole point was manipulation and mindless torture and thoughtlessness isn't really a thing they're doing to make your life hell. They're doing it to make themselves feel powerful.
Yeah.
And, and they'll be as nice as pie in front of other people. And then they'll come back in and give you a, verbal slapping. But at the end of the day, they only work up to a point because this guy, the one I was working with, only had me. And if I turned around and fucked off, that would have been it. As it turned out, the government made that choice for him. But at the end of the day, that was the problem. So yeah. So all this. So going back to the film, all of this. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to sack you. I'm going to, all this kind of thing. You're never going to work in this industry again. All those kind of threats, they're just hollow. And they're only there to keep you in line, so it becomes like a constant. So when something nice happens, you feel it. It's like a little dash of sugar in your tea.
Well, there is that moment where Buddy takes all the acclaim for that script when Cyrus is walking through the building. and him and Guy have just been sat down going through it. He's going, "This is brilliant. Don't worry about the spelling mistakes, but this is golden. This is brilliant. You're gonna go up the ladder, and I'm gonna go up the ladder, and this is amazing." Goes and sees Cyrus and brings him through right in front of Guy, and he's like, "Oh, this is great. Sort these fucking spelling mistakes out." And he's like, "Oh, you son of a bitch. What a bastard." But you got to be a bastard to kind of win at these sort of things, though, haven't you? You got to work your way up.
Well, the problem... Sorry, no, I'll let someone else talk, because otherwise it would just turn into Lee's therapy session again. Jim, go for it.
Well, the thing is, I think things don't have to be this way.
No.
But when the people in charge they set the culture.
Yep.
And it's kind of shit rolls downhill, as it were. I mean, a lot of people would quite happily do this job without the mind games and the histrionics, because it'd be a lot more effective without it. But the trouble is, a lot of these people, the top people, actually aren't doing anything. They're not the people who create anything, and they need to feel like they're doing something, and they do that just by bullying. And it's a malaise, actually not just in entertainment. I mean, I've seen it in quite a few different industries, where people think being a successful manager is being the best bully.
Yeah.
Think we're seeing that with a certain presidential candidate right now.
Well, indeed,
Oh, God,
yes.
yeah.
And it is one of those things. It's kind of at the end of the movie, Buddy supposedly has come out on top, but I think he's only one bad day from getting a considerably worse haircut if he's not careful, considering what Gus's Guy's done by the end of the film.
Yeah.
And as soon as Guy works out a way he can get away with it, he might find himself having a nice ride in a wood chipper.
Yep.
Do you think this is a case of keep your enemies closer?
No. I mean, not for me.
No?
The enemies close. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. There are no enemies. There's just There's just competitors.
Yeah.
And if you bully someone to the point where they've become a psychopath, don't think you've won. You've just made a weapon for your own destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, I mean, the title tells you Swimming with Sharks. It's not about just one person being a bully or one person trying to control. It's the fact, as Jim says, it's a culture where everyone feels their own self-importance and are selfish. And if you swim with a shark, that shark's going to eat you. But it's not going to give a shit about the other sharks coming in to finish the job.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're in a shark tank, and essentially everyone's the same. Everything's equally as dangerous, from the fucking janitor who thinks they're more important than the security guard to the head producer who thinks they're more important than the writer, and the writer who thinks they're more important than the staff writer who thinks they're more important than the fucking assistant editor. And, it just goes down a list. And just, yeah, it's not about anything other than I made the money for this company, therefore I have a level of importance, therefore I can do anything as long as the company's making money. It's capitalism to the nth degree.
Yeah.
It's where everything eventually goes. Sorry, carry on.
What does everyone think of the actual structure of the film, with it starting off at the very end and then kind of bouncing around, but in I thought kind of fluid way?
I thought it was very well structured, the way from what you see at the start, but then you do revisit the start later on and get a bit more like fine tuning and extra detail you didn't get in the beginning. And I think it's done very sort of nicely, the way it lets the tales kind of unfold and gives you the right pieces at the right time, so you can just put it together. but at the same time, enough to just blindside you as to, you know, where it is going to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, like, everyone thought, like, when he just turns up at Buddy's house, pulls a gun on him and ties him to a chair and goes, fucking hell, we're in hostel. What's going on? I thought this was going to be like, you know, sort of West Wing, kind of Larry Sandler's kind of, you know, people being very cutting and bitchy and black comedy, sniping at each other and being horrible. I didn't think he'd be going like, oh, he's tied to a chair and getting Tabasco face in a paper cut.
Yeah. Yeah, all the Tabasco torture and the fucking paper cuts. How do you get a paper cut on a tongue anyway? I don't even know how that's possible.
Licking the envelope.
Lick an envelope wrong.
But yeah, I
not a euphemism.
No, I mean as far as licking the envelope, yeah. Well, it might be. It's a very subtle one if it is. Certainly makes my trip to Ryman's a little bit more frisky.
Oh, yeah. You never really want to lick a stamp again after that, I'll tell you.
No. I'm licking the back of the Queen's head.
That's the king now.
Yes.
All the better. Doesn't matter. It's all royal to me.
Sausage fingers.
What are you doing in there, Dave? It sounds like you're punching an oyster. Anyway. Anyway. As far as the structure is concerned, I normally the starting at the end and then retelling really annoys me. I mean, I love Carlito's Way, but that first 5 minutes can just do one. The same goes for American Pie, not American Pie, American Beauty. You know,
American Pie.
American Pie. Well, they've probably got a lot more in common nowadays. Anyway, and you know, so American Beauty that does that, and a couple of others. And it's just like, as soon as you see, Catch Me If You Can is the big one. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they show you the beginning is the end, and you go, oh, what was the point? It's like you're speed running prequels, for fuck's sake. But this one does it well because the end is actually a mystery. You know, who's being dragged out. You think you know what's going on.
Well, you have an unreliable narrator as well.
Actually, you do, because it goes a bit Flash Gordon part way through. You know how they used to do those Flash Gordon Saturday morning shows, and they'd have the fucking ship crash into a mountain, but then by the next episode he's suddenly woken up and pulled the stick, and he's managed to bank away from the actual target. It kind of does a bit like that, because suddenly in that bit where he's having the phone call, I don't remember him in the first instance telling him that he's standing there going, oh, but I love you. I love you. I don't remember that being in that bit. And yet, apparently, it was part of that conversation.
No, she'd already hung up on him.
Yeah, but we didn't see him then standing going, I love you, but I love you.
Well, when I said unreliable narrator, I can't say that sentence. Dawn is doing the voiceover in the very beginning as her body is being brought out.
Yeah.
Well, I bet you're all wondering, how did I get here?
Which I think it's clever. It's a bit cheaty, but it's also clever as well, because you've heard her voice, and so you're just thinking, who's under that cover? And you've been told it's not the person stood in front of you, and it's not the person's voice either.
Well,
straight away.
I'd say that was just a narrative device. That's just an editing device where you sort of like, you have the voiceover and you think, right, okay, that's fooling you, but the voiceover's coming from the past, so it's kind of an editing trick. It's tricking you. But
yeah, but if it had been Spacey's voice, and you'd be thinking, if you watch the film, you're thinking, well, hang on, is this going to happen? And then the gun goes off, and you think, oh, so. And then it's only when you rewatch it and go, hang on, that's Space's voice over that, and it's not him in there. That's very clever. But then you find out it's Dawn doing it. It's even more clever because it's kind of lulled you into this cul-de-sac of, well, it's not the lady and it's not Guy. So who could it be under this tarpaulin?
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah. That's where he went.
That's where he went. We found the body right at the very end. And he didn't disappear. He didn't go off to be Paramount Vice President. He went off and just got shot. Yeah. I mean, as far as it... I mean, what do you... Okay. Let's just kind of skip to the end in a way. But what did you think about his decision at the end? The final end. I mean, why am I even bothering? This spoiler is we're in spoiler zones.
Yeah.
You know, he shoots her. He shoots Dawn. What do you think that indicates? Why did he do that? And what does that tell you about Guy? And what does that tell you about Buddy and Buddy's influence? And the final question, which is, what do you actually want?
I think that's the only way he gets out of that situation.
So you think it's just a practical thing?
I think it's he's been forced into a corner by both of them. And Darren, I think you're right with possibly a devil and an angel on his shoulder. That is that moment, isn't it? Where he's like, what one do I go for? What one do I go for? And you've got the devil just eyeing him up and saying, okay, right, go on, just do it. Just do it now. And the only way he gets out of that situation, if he kills Buddy, then he has to explain what the hell's going on and with Dawn and the gun and why is he in Buddy's apartment. But if he kills Dawn, then they can concoct a story because they're both manipulative. So I think that's the only way that he gets out of that situation with his job and with his life.
I think that, but I think there's also an element of that Spacey's pumped him so full of poison in those last scenes that he feels his relationship with Dawn is completely screwed and it was all a sham, and he's angry as well. And there's an element of kind of, just destroy it all, burn it down. Mm-hmm. And the one thing he does want is to work in film so Buddy gets to live. And so he gets him out of the hole he's potentially in.
What about you, Dan? What's your take on it?
Well, I do think it is the whole thing at the end there. It is because Buddy himself is on a knife edge. That's it. He can fall either one way or the other. And I think I don't think he was going to actually kill him. Right? I don't think he was actually going there to kill him. I think he wanted to just put fear into him. I think that's what it was. He just wanted to torture him, and maybe claim back some of the sort of claim back some of the power,
self-respect.
Yeah, that Buddy had taken from him. Right? But that's it. But then he learns in the end that self-respect is not what is important in the game there.
Right. So what is important then, do you think?
If you want to be in that business, then you've got to have absolutely no shame in what you're doing. You want to make it in there, you've got to be cutthroat. You've got to be literally ready to do the most debasing thing you can to get what you want. Or to make others do that and then hold that over them. When you've collected that soul, and this is what basically Buddy does at the end. He collects that soul, right? He's now got this one person who will do absolutely anything he tells him. That's it. Because what's the alternative? I go to the police and I tell them what really happened.
Yeah, but I would
before you start putting realism into this, Okay.
No. Go on.
It's the about well, it would implicate himself. Yeah, but you know what? They seem to get out of it pretty quickly. So I don't think the story was that bothered. I think it made its point in the end, because surely there would have been a bit more of an investigation into this. And she turned up and gunned him down, but I was there to save him.
No, I mean, I wasn't going to kick the theory to the curb. I was more about the fact that, to me, the finale really comes down to the fact that everyone's lying to themselves. Everyone's got a nobility, a kind of idea of, I'm making this film. I'm writing the great novel. I'm trying to make a film into this great thing. Yeah. I love her. She loves me. When, ultimately the whole thing is entirely cynical. She shacks up with him initially, not because she wants to, but because she feels like she's made the right move by going for him, because he's the door. She says blatantly, "You're my in to Buddy, to Buddy's. You can get the script on his table," and she's quite blatant about it.
Yeah.
Do you think
you
it's
can
the
get
same
my
way for
calls
him?
Answered.
Yeah.
Do you think it's the same way for him? Do you think that Guy is actually using her as a stepping stone as well?
No, I think what happens is Guy starts off, like everyone does in that industry, as naive. And he thinks, well, okay, she's after something, but, we're friends. Hey, first day on the job, click, click, click. But actually, as it soon becomes very clear, and it always becomes clear, no one's friends. No one's friends with you. And the point is, everyone's only talking to you or being talked to or allowing you to waste their time by having conversations because they think they're getting something out of it. And he doesn't glom onto that until a little bit into the film, sort of like round about the 1 month mark, when suddenly it's like, okay, now he's taking her script and saying, oh yeah, well, if we just change the start and the end, then you'll get it made, because he's now getting himself involved in the writing of the script that she already has.
Can I just say, by the way, all this talk about Buddy and Guy is a little bit confusing, because I keep hearing that fucking South Park sketch about I'm not your buddy, Guy. So I keep hearing that in my fucking head.
Right, fair enough. So anyway, I'll be honest with you, I don't. I hear people just saying it, and I don't get it. But no, as far as it goes, I see them. I see them all doing the same thing. He doesn't want, Guy doesn't want to be sitting on that desk forever. And in fact, Benicio del Toro's character says it straight at the beginning. This is the only industry where punching down isn't only accepted, but it's damn near encouraged. And so it's all about just someone moving further up the chain. Because 1 minute she's got the position of power, she's the one telling him to get out of the car park. He does that. Then she finds out that he's working for Buddy Ackerman. I'll call him Ackerman. There you go. He's working for Ackerman. Suddenly she's like, oh, right, well, maybe we'll go for a drink. Maybe we'll go for lunch. Maybe we'll do this. And then they are shacked up within nothing. So now she's using him to get her script on Ackerman's desk. Guy then using the script and his access to Ackerman, and by writing down Foster Kane on the script, suddenly gets his foot in the door, and suddenly he becomes the more powerful one, and now he's manipulating her script for his own gain. So that whole thing with Ackerman coming around with the script going, I love it, dude, the script notes, all this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to sit there and go, yeah, Ackerman's actually right. What a shit. But then when you realise that the person who actually wrote the script isn't in the room when those two guys are sitting in that room rewriting the script.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to be sitting there going, "Oh, poor guy, he's been fucked over." But no, he's already fucking over Dawn. And so the whole film is just this gradual descent into hell until Guy is another shark. But you're supposed to feel sympathy for him, and that's what I was saying right at the start, that your feelings about Dawn getting better aren't that she gets better. It's just that your calibration of what is terrible becomes altered, skewed.
Do you have any feeling, any sympathy for Ackerman then at all?
No.
Not after, because he does come up with a sob story about his wife as well. And well, you have Guy moaning about, well, yeah, this has been like a year, and he's like, I did 10. It's like, okay. But yeah, that is no excuse to treat people like that. But then there is no excuse for treating people like that. But you have to be hard in a hard industry.
But he's not being... Go on, Jim.
Yeah, he's not in Afghanistan fighting the Taliban. He's only making fucking movies. It's not that tough.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that kind of bullshit with showbiz about how fucking tough it is to be an artist. Oh, fuck off. Try to go work in a coal mine. That's tough.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
My dad used to be a docker, bite his nails, 6-inch roofing variety. That was tough,
No, but I think you have to be, you have to have a certain toughness, because there are already people acclimatized to being absolute wankers at the top. And they are the ones that are going to manipulate absolutely everything. And then you're going to have natural wankers that rise to the top as well, manipulating people along the way. And so if you don't harden the other people coming up through the ranks to these wankers, then everyone's going to get walked over.
So are you trying to suggest that Ackerman's actually tempering Guy's personality for his own good?
I'm not saying it's for his own good, no. But I think that there is... I don't agree with the workplace bullying or anything like that, but I think you need to be shown what is out there and what can fuck you over.
But as Jim says, they're not fighting hardened criminal cells of terrorists.
No, but there are bosses. Look at what we went through with the pandemic, and you think you sit in like Tesco's and you walk through and you're like, well, okay, well, look, I could take both packets of pasta, but I won't. And okay, this situation happened to me. I walked in there looking for packets of pasta for my daughter. I found 2 packets on the shelf, and I thought, do I take both? Do I be that cunt that does that? Or do I just take one, and that's what we need at the moment? And I only took one. And as soon as I put the other one back, whoop, gone. Absolutely gone. By someone who probably didn't have it, probably bought it and then probably threw it out later on. Because there are absolute arseholes out there. And if you walk through the world going, it'd be all right, it'd be fine, don't worry about it, everything's rosy. No, it doesn't work like that. So sometimes I think you need someone to show you what is out there.
The thing is, with Buddy, he's not showing Guy what's out there. He is what's out there.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
What you say about, they're not fighting, they're not in the trenches and stuff like this. It comes back to what you said, Lee, about calibration, being in a situation, right? I work in IT. I find my job can be stressful, but then you can turn to me and say, oh, you want to try working in A&E. Your job's not stressful. Try working there. Try being a nurse in A&E, mate. Yeah, this is a stressful job. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, I'm not calibrated for that. I'm calibrated for life here, right? Okay, I'm doing IT. And I think that's why everybody thinks it's so tough, because they're not experiencing anything tougher. It's like goldfish, they get bigger the bigger the bowl you get. And they're in a very tiny bowl. So this is why they go on about it being tough, is because they don't know anything outside of that. So as far as they're concerned, their job is stressful.
Well, I'm not saying it's not stressful. Fuck me. I mean, like I say, 18 months
No,
of that fucking Elstree thing just was nightmarish. But
what Jim said is correct as well, right? Okay, it isn't fighting out in the trenches or whatever. Okay, so yeah, their job really, in comparison to everything else, isn't tough. But they're psychologically conditioned to think that this is the toughest job in the world. And it's only because other people make it tough. People don't have to be cunts. But somebody thought it was a good idea because somebody was lazy. So, you know what? I'm going to be really nasty to everybody and I'm going to get ahead of the game. That's what I'm going to do because I'm greedy. And then it's like a disease. You see, everybody then thinks, well, if he's going to be like that, look how successful he's been. I'm going to be like that. And then it starts spreading outwards and everybody becomes infected. But everybody just fucking stopped and went, hold on a minute. We don't be like this.
The problem with the film industry specifically is it wouldn't be that bad if there wasn't absolutely fuck tons and colossal amounts of money being burnt up by the second in a pursuit of making even more money. That's the pressure point there. No, they're not fighting the Taliban. They're not going down holes. But when you think that one mistake on your part, that someone will, pass up the chain to someone else, to someone else, to someone else, and then eventually your part in a product gets flagged as the reason why $120 million film suddenly turned out a profit of £4.50 in a biscuit. You know, that's where the pressure comes. That's where the anger comes. That's where the rage comes, because everyone's under that massive pressure cooker of, you have to deliver this product, you have to deliver it on time, and you have to deliver it on the time we say, when we say it, because if you don't, we're not making money. And if we're not making money, you're fired, we're going under. And that's an enormous pressure, regardless of what it is they're actually doing. But I was going to say that the thing with Ackerman, and the reason why I don't feel sorry for him in his fucking sob story, is because what that illustrates in the end is what he has become. Because he does it, and he has that one moment where he cracks, but you don't feel anything for him or that situation that he brings out, because you're not entirely sure that he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the fact is that even if he is telling the truth, you see it and I'll give him this, that performance where he shuts it down. He's sort of breaking up, and then all of a sudden he just grabs it, and you just see him swallow that fucking emotion and just bury it down. Now, if it's genuine, that's kind of cold. To take something that is so horrible in your life, something that it would crush someone, and all you do is just go, it is what it is. That makes you a soulless monster, regardless of what happened in your life. I mean, that literally is the personification of evil. It's like, my family was set on fire and thrown in a pit, and then, people danced around it singing Glory Hallelujah and put a video of it on YouTube. Is what it is. It's like, what? That's the kind of level we're at.
Oh, well.
Hey ho.
Shrug.
Still, make sure Mitzi's at my house by midnight. It's just like, right. And that's the satire of the whole thing, is that the Hollywood machine makes you soulless, and you shouldn't feel any sympathy or empathy for anyone. But then you're not part of it, and you're feeling that you're being corrupted by it. You're being corrupted as a viewer by the same thing that's corrupting these people, which is their job. basically shoots Dawn, he's not, and you see him kind of go, oh, he's all crying and sad and everything. The fact of the matter is, and this comes back to my other point in the previous question, old Ackerman is going, what do you actually want? Do you want love? Do you want, fame? Do you want fortune? What is it you actually want? And when it comes down to it, what he wants is to be like Buddy. He wants just power. So the bullier or the bullied becomes the new bully. That's all he really wants.
Well, he's displaying that towards the end, isn't he, on that phone call?
Hmm.
There's a moment where he's aping Buddy as he comes into the room.
Mm.
And as soon as he's there, he stands up, like, oh, sorry. But then like he's drawing pictures of like pissing on his grave and stuff like that.
Exactly. But Buddy, by the same measure, is sitting there doing basically doing verbally the same thing about Stella, his person he's trying to take over from.
Yeah.
And that's the point. It is the Swimming with Sharks, It's everyone is a vicious, self-centered, conniving, entitled arsehole. And what they really want is to be the top, most powerful, self-centered arsehole to the exclusion of all else. And that's why when Dawn caps it in the head, she shows one bit of humanity, and that's the other thing she keeps bringing up. Don't do X, Y, and Z. Don't apologize. Don't do this because it's a weakness.
Yeah,
and when she makes you look like a schmuck.
Schmuck, that's it, yeah.
And as soon as she shows a single bit of weakness, which is a single shred of humanity going over to Buddy to basically sleep with him to save Guy's job, it costs her. That whole movie is about the lack of humanity being the goal.
Yeah.
And as soon as she shows a single decent moment of humanity, not stepping on anyone, but trying to do a selfless act, she pays the price. And that's the final bad joke of the whole thing.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure whether Guy was his actual name or whether he was just referred to as Guy.
Doesn't Ackerman say something along the lines of, I like that name, nice and anonymous?
I know it's on the banner as he walks in towards the very end where he's interviewing his friend. But I think I took it two ways, as his real name, but also as just a man number one, or Guy. This is Guy.
Every man.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. That's the way I took it anyway.
Well, that was it. The characters that don't have a name in a TV show, like in Galaxy Quest, bloody Sam... what's it?
Guy Fliegelman.
Yeah, he's called Guy. Sam... what's his name?
Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell, yeah. In Galaxy Quest. What's my name? You're Guy. See, you don't even know my surname. I didn't have one.
Right. Well, there you go. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what a performance, though. I still can't get over it. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I love it.
Yeah, it was a powerful performance. It was a powerful performance from all three, to be honest.
What about the relationship between Guy and Dawn? Did anyone at any moment think it was believable at all? Not just because of... I didn't get any chemistry between them.
But that just backs up what I was saying. She started off the whole thing literally saying to him, you and me go out for a drink because you can have my parking space because you're my way into Buddy's office.
But as an audience member, I think you're supposed to see chemistry from either one or both. to actually believe in, okay, maybe there's something there. But I didn't get anything from either of them, really, apart from maybe that hug at the very, very end.
Jim?
I think you sort of see it sort of develop. So when he's in the bar and he answers a question, he actually gets a smile out of her, and that's like breaking the ice. And then later on, when they're in the laundrette talking about things, she's being more human rather than just this, attitude in a suit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, you sort of see her bringing her guard down, but even in that scene, though, he's still got like the buddy on his shoulder, so like pointing, no, bring the script to me, Frog Stella, you know what I mean? And he's coming across really sincere, but he's the roles are sort of reversing. He's trying to manipulate her. But the final scene when they have the bust up, there's a feeling between them. And it is kind of, she's very much kind of, you do what you do, but that's business. Then there's a line she seems to have draw, and she sort of found actually a personal life with him. Or I don't think it's a fully fledged relationship. It's the potential of a relationship. And it's something she's actually interested in pursuing, of actually not being just a professional mind game player and all the time, and just be able to have something that is away from that and normal. And that's why, she said, just tell him, buddy, I don't care. You draw that line, get your life work balance. And but in the end, he chooses buddy in more ways than one.
Yeah. Exactly. It's that whole thing of, just what do you want? And that's the thing. That's what they're all out there. That's what they're all asking. Dawn wants her script on the table and getting made. What does Guy want? Well, he starts off, he wants to be a writer, and then he wants to be in the industry because he loves films. Then he wants Dawn, and then he wants to be in with Buddy, so he helps with the Dawn script, and then he wants to be recognised, and then he wants to be powerful like Buddy, and then he is. I mean, as far as the believability of the relationship, I didn't, not for 1 second, because I was viewing it too cynically, I think.
Right.
What about you, Dal? Well, where the relationship was concerned, I thought that we got a lot of twats around here with very, very loud engines and very small penises.
It just sounded like you screeched in from somewhere else on a bike.
Yeah, your Deliveroo has arrived.
Or on a cow. Like Bully and Bullseye.
He makes that rather surprised noise. Oh? Where did you come from?
Yeah.
Where their relationship was concerned, I thought it was believable once they were into it. I didn't think it was that convincing. I didn't know why she was suddenly jumping into bed with him. From surface value, no, I don't know. I mean, you don't see the conversation they have up to that point. Anyway, how they get on that evening, right? So maybe they do click or something like that. But going from where we had suddenly to them snogging each other in a corridor and going off to bed, that was a bit of a leap. That was a bit of a leap in believability where that was concerned. But later on, when they're together in a flat, talking, that was when it became believable. They seem to be more on an equal footing, if you know what I mean.
Aaron.
Yeah. Yes.
That relationship, is it unbelievable in the 90s or is it unbelievable nowadays?
I think it's just unbelievable in general.
Yeah.
I think you've got to for that kind of thing to work. There's got to be a spark, right? Now, say what you like. You normally in a relationship, you have one person that kind of takes the lead, or maybe the two kind of swap. You know, it's like at one point, one person in the relationship is taking the lead, and then in another part, somebody, the other half will. And it just seemed to be that if there was a leader out of the two of them, it was going to be Michelle Forbes' character. She seemed like the dominant force there, but he seemed too passive.
Mm.
You know, that's the thing. It just didn't. Her level of being in charge was way above where he was as a person, I think.
Mm.
He wasn't, I hate to use the phrase, but he was not an alpha, shall we say. If we're going to use stuff like that, you know, where she very much was an alpha. She had the smart. She's got the street smarts or whatever. She knows the lay of the land. She's experienced in the situation they're in. The way that he doesn't kind of bite back at all when she talks about being in his car parking space.
Mm.
It's like, you know, me personally, I'd be questioning like, oh, really? Because I don't see any markings here or anything. Have you got any kind of ID to show me that this is your parking space? Because I'm looking around here, I don't see anything. I don't see any markings. I'm just saying, you know, because I mean, all right, I've only just got here, but you know, I'm having a look around. I don't see your name anywhere. I don't see any numbering system. But then that's just me. You see, I'm like that. I will, if somebody's trying to, you know, somebody suggests that I should sort of like not be where I am, and there's no indication as to why that is the status quo, then I mean, as silly as I am, I'm going to question it. I'm going to go, really? Because I don't. Can you show me where this is? Do we need to do I need to register then? Is that right? Because I don't see anything here saying that this is anybody's space apart from, well, mine now, because my fat ass is in it.
Do you have a parchment with your name or door in it?
Exactly. I'm sorry, is there a barcode that I can read, or a QR code that comes up with, this is my fucking space, get out of it? You know, it's just, you saw that. It's a ridiculous thing. It pans back, and all the parking spaces are the fucking same. This is it. There's no numbers, no nothing on them.
No.
That's it.
But it's a power move.
Yeah. Exactly.
Again, it's what all the characters are doing. They're just posturing and showing who's the boss. And that's all they want to be.
There's it's just, I'm going through that with a certain individual who shall remain nameless at the moment, in a situation, and I, you know, maybe rather stupidly keep calling it out.
Does her name start with R?
It's not a her. So yeah. There you go. Maybe I felt a little triggered with that bit there. Breathe, Darren. Breathe.
Anyway,
breathe,
like I say, it becomes therapy.
Welcome
session.
to Black Dog Therapy.
Breathe, Darren. Breathe. He's not here. He's not here. He's not here to say anything now. Okay, he's well away from it. He doesn't exist.
But Darren, I asked for sweet and low. Why did you bring me equal?
Because you'll take what I give you and fucking like it.
You have no brain.
You won't have any fucking brain by the time I've sliced off the top of your fucking head and scooped it out with this fucking melon baller. All right?
So
calm down.
It's so hostile.
If you were in my toilet, I wouldn't flush you.
If you were in my toilet, I wouldn't be able to flush it because you'd be the biggest fucking turd in there. Anyway, sorry. Darren, calm down. Reel it in. Wind the neck, wind the neck, wind the neck. There we go.
Wind the neck.
Oh,
Right. Okay.
oh.
I think at this point, I think we'll leave it there. Okay. Unless anyone's got anything else pertinent they wish
And
to
another
say.
thing, right? Okay.
The Columbo of vengeance.
Mm.
One more thing.
Mm. Yeah. Just one more thing before I go.
Can I just say, by the way, I saw a piece of fan artwork this week, and it's a team up with Batman and Columbo. And Columbo's just rambling at Batman, and Batman's just not said a word in the entire 6 frames of this thing. I thought, yes, I'll buy that. I'll have a copy of that. Thank you very much. That's a very believable team up.
Mm.
Just one more thing, Batman.
Mm.
As he starts feeling for the Batarang. Oh man, I would pay for that. I really would pay to see that. Yeah.
Right. So, anyone got any last minute thoughts before we close the door on this one?
No, but I'm glad I've seen it now, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I am too, but it just reminds me why I burnt out.
Are we allowed to watch spacey movies now?
What, I think like Star Wars?
I think you are allowed to watch them because there's other people involved. And if you've already kind of paid for them, then you're not actually contributing anything more to his wage packet.
Okay. Let's just address the elephant in the room. Then let's just do it. There's a separation between art and artist, which is a whole discussion that we really haven't got time to have. But are you really telling me right now that you won't watch, just taking it to its nth degree, that you won't watch any Miramax movie made up until 5-10 years ago?
Oh no, I'm just asking the question.
No. I'm not picking on you, mate. I'm just throwing it out there. It's like there's a separation between art and artist. And it's been discussed elsewhere hundreds of times, but it's like when I first got on Twitter, and then you're sitting there and you suddenly go, I wonder if that Adam Baldwin guy is quite good because I like him in Firefly. Oh my god, you see that and you just think, oh, okay.
Well, it's not only just Adam Baldwin, is it? It's things like Joss Whedon himself, and it's just.
I always had a problem with him, but that's different.
But what do you do? Do you not watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Is that it? Or Angel? Yeah, well, but do you deny that yourself that because of this one thing? You don't have to feel good about the actor.
No.
At all. I mean, it depends on how distracted I think you can become by that while watching that show. Is it so great? It's like pieces of music as well. It's like a certain Christmas tune that I can't listen to anymore. Like rock and roll, another rock and roll in Christmas by Gary Glitter. This is it. It's just no. Especially that time I went to down to the coast, and as I'm walking past this kiddies little roundabout thing that was going around this little Christmas fair, I thought, what's that tune I can hear? And then I realised they were playing it on the kiddies roundabout, and it's like, oh, think you better change your music selection there, mate, because well, there you go.
Well, it's like it's like even things like anti-vaxxing, which was arguably one of the most destructive things that happened during 2020 after the COVID virus itself. So if you oppose that, does that mean you don't watch films with Jim Carrey in it or Jessica Biel or you know, where do you stop?
Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have asked that then. Sorry.
No. I don't think
it's a valid question.
No, it's a valid question.
It's a very valid
Very
question.
valid question.
I think the thing with films or TV shows is that they're not one individual's work. They're the work of many, many people. And it's kind of, well, you know, kind of one bad apple. You shouldn't throw out the entire band, you know, all the apples because of one bad one.
Yeah.
It is a difficult thing, though. I mean, you know, because I mean, God knows, there's a lot of people who are very creative, but were monsters in one way or another. Some are well known, others are not well known, and others will find about after the dead. It'll come out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's, I think you have to sort of make that sort of separation, really.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you end up with nothing to watch or read or listen to because there's very few saints out there in the creative industries.
Well, no, absolutely not. I doubt you could throw a stone in Hollywood and not find some absolute shitweasel that would, you know, destroy half your Blu-ray or CD collection because you sort of go, oh fuck. I mean, where do you stop? I mean, you know, you can start with sort of like Roman Polanski and the sort of underage kids thing. Right, fine. Okay, we won't watch his stuff. Fine. He won't make any money from us. That's fine. That's a line you pull, you draw. That's fine. But then you start going to things, like I say, like anti-vaxxing, in which case do you not listen to, was it Eric Clapton? Do you not listen to Van Morrison? Do you not listen to, you know, pick a bunch of different artists? You know, there's bound to be one in your collection where you go, oh, Roger Waters, for example. I mean, you know, do I now take out all my Pink Floyd collection and just burn it on the lawn?
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, going forward, once you know about them, how much do you support? But stuff that you haven't seen or stuff that's out there already, you know, arguably they're getting very little from it. You know, do you deny yourself everything? You know, you're not going to fix the problems that they've created or the bad things they've said by denying yourself. It's what you can live with in terms of, you know, I mean, I tell you what, here's a confession. I love the Pixar movie Bug's Life that most people just mainly forget. But I think it's a great Seven Samurai ripoff, and it's really well done. But the main villain, you know, right in the middle of it is Kevin Spacey. Now, and it's directed by John, I think, not directed by, it's produced by John Lasseter, who himself had all sorts of things thrown at him because he was, shall we say, a bit handsy in the office. So, you know, does that mean half my Pixar collection goes out the window? So you have to kind of go, where do I draw that line? I'd be interested to know where people would draw the line. I mean, you take all Miramax stuff out, you know, everything Harvey Weinstein was involved in, you lose 90% of Tarantino's stuff.
That's
and
right.
most of Kevin Smith's stuff. You know, most people wouldn't be particularly bothered by that last one, but you know, at the end of the day, it's where do you draw that line? At what point do you say, okay, I'm not supporting them, I'm supporting the product or the people, other people in that thing? I think it's a really interesting conversation. I could do a whole podcast just on that, you know, but I think you've just got to square it in your own head what you're willing to do. I mean, in some ways, I know this is going to sound really awful, but when the accusations of, you know, what Kevin Spacey had done or what he may have done or what he was alleged to have done came out, and then then House of Cards just vanished from Netflix. And it's like, well, I quite like to have watched that. You know, and by watching it, am I somehow endorsing him? I don't know. But at least
it's very difficult. It's very especially difficult when it's it's about allegations.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, what do you do? Do you turn around and say, no, I'm going to fully support this thing? You know, because one guy got accused of something, and until he is proven or not proven to have done them, the thing vanishes. You know, you are denied the other artists that were involved in it who spent years.
Well, it's the hundreds of people behind it as well. They lose out, don't they?
Yeah, but you know, you're tacitly acknowledging that you're supporting the main character or the main actor, and you're like, or the guilty party involved. It's like, really? Okay, so you know, what's now? What now? You know, the Johnny Depp thing, for Christ's sake, that went stomping on for hours and filling everyone's TV up with stories about taking a shit on a bed or something. It was just like, okay, so now what? Am I supposed to get all my copy of Pirates of the Caribbean and sacrificially burn it on the lawn while the kids cry because they can't watch it? I mean, what am I supposed to do? It's, you know,
as I say, it's very difficult, especially when it's thinking, well, what did happen? There's a lot of smoke and a lot of rumor and a lot of allegations. You know what I mean? It's bad enough when it's clear cut and someone you know holds like lost John Lasseter. He held his hands up. He actually resigned. Blah blah blah. You know,
Yeah,
confessed his guilt. That's one thing. But say Kevin Spacey it's been allegations. It's gone to court. I believe there's other allegations. Maybe might get to court. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's it's in a kind of weird limbo.
Here's even more of a more recent take. I really loved the Sandman TV show, right?
Yes.
But now Neil Gaiman is being accused of some pretty heinous stuff. So,
yeah,
do you watch Sandman season 2?
Nope. Exactly.
This is it. When that comes out,
Well,
do I continue reading?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of Good Omens and, you know, all that kind of stuff as well. American Gods, episodes of Doctor Who. I mean,
yeah, God knows how much stuff that man's written that people love. You know, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, and then you could look at it. You could look at it one way, like, you know, sort of absolutely not be militant. I'm not supporting him. I'm not paying the money into a company that supports this person. Right, fine. Do you know what? Totally up to you, and that's totally valid and totally acceptable. Yeah. On the other hand, look at it another way. They've already been paid for it. It's already happened. It's gone. If you don't want to watch that person, you're absolutely repulsed by anything they're involved in, absolutely go for it. Just block them out. I will support your decision to do so. But if you're turning around as if you're making some sort of statement, like, I'm not supporting this person, right, fine. But then also think that the money has been paid. The thing has happened. The thing has been made. The people have been given cash for it. And in the case of something like streaming, you know, the license has been purchased already. You know, Pluto TV purchased the license for, was it Miramax's back catalogue?
Basically, there's nothing untouched or unsullied, is there?
No. I mean, fuck me. I mean, you can't even look at old newsreels now with bloody Hugh Edwards or Frank Boff or
BBC.
Old episodes of Top of the Pops. It's like nonce, dead, nonce, dead, nonce.
Wow. Yes.
It's like a backing beat, isn't it? Nonce.
Exactly. And and it's that, and and again, I'm not saying you shouldn't make a stand. You shouldn't make a thing of it. If you want to, do it. But I just don't see precisely beyond your own moral convictions what you're going to do anymore. I mean, fucking hell, is nobody going to watch Usual Suspects anymore? I mean, Christ almighty, you got Bryan Singer, who was accused and was found guilty, and then you got Kevin Spacey in there.
Yep. Say goodbye to all those X-Men films.
Exactly. It's an interesting conversation. It's an interesting dilemma. But
well, it is. It's one of these. I think it's often people get very glib about it because it's kind of we all have our likes and dislikes, our own personal connections. With some things come up, well, that's not I can not watch X's films anymore. Didn't really like him in the first place. You know what I mean? But everyone else raved about him, so I never made a deal of it. But I don't like him. Don't like him. Does not, I'm giving up watching his films, not that I watched them in the first place. Sort of thing. But when it's someone you followed for years, like the Game and That Revelations, I don't know how I feel about that. It's you know what I mean? It's kind of I've been reading him for since he started. I've been reading his work. You know what I mean? And enjoying it. It's been a big part of my life, and it's kind of. What do I do now? Do I take it out and burn them? Do I never read them again?
Yeah.
Will I be able to read them again? I don't know. It's all up in the air. So it's allegations of the current, So for some people, that's enough to get the pitchforks out. And it's kind of, for me, it's, I don't know. And I've not really had the heart to really go through the allegations in detail on the podcast series to weigh it up because I don't want to put myself through that at the minute, frankly. No. My life's complicated enough.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But it's I think some people are very easy to be black and white about it when it is just, it's a difficult decision. I think you got to find your own depth with it,
I think so. It's individual basis, really, isn't it?
And you shouldn't bully other people into, no, you must get rid of this because of that. And
that's true, yeah.
So that's a pile-on mentality, which unfortunately social media breeds. And you know what I mean? It's kind of, I know, with some of the worst behaviour, it's often hard to prove and hard to get, taken to court and all the rest of it. And so a lot of time it doesn't, and that's awful. But at the same time, it is kind of, well, we are supposed to believe people are innocent until proven guilty, and it's just really, sometimes it's just really horrendous. And there isn't an easy pat answer either way.
No. I mean, and it's interesting. It's like the personal side of things. It's like, what are you personally willing to put up with, and what you're personally willing to accept as something that it's happened, it's been done, it's gone. What can you do? I find it really interesting because it's just one of those things of kind of like, you often find people going, yes, you must, blank this person off because they've done X, Y, and Z, and that's perfectly valid if that's what you want to do. And then they become militant, and it's like, everyone who does this, right, it's right, fine, until the minute that something that they like gets cancelled, because of it. I used cancelled as a phrase, but I don't mean it really. I mean, as soon as the militancy turns towards something that they particularly like, and it'll be like, yeah, absolutely ban everything. And no, not that one. No, not like that.
Yeah, that's the problem, is it? Sorry, I know we're creating a whole new episode. Sorry about this.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
No, that's fine.
I had that with, it seems silly now, but Mike Tyson. Now, he's a convicted rapist, went to prison and did his time in prison, and then he turns up in the Hangover movies. And I'm sat there going, do you guys remember the 1980s? Do you remember where he went and why he went there? And, that's all right then, is it? Oh, okay, fine. We're putting him in films and, okay, right, okay, cool, great. Let's just carry on with that. But, I'm no one's going to listen to my little voice on that. So,
well, then you see, the problem is there, and I really am aware that we are now going down a very different alleyway.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I'm cool with it. I'm sure people will be on the Facebook group who have opinions on this as well.
Yeah.
And perfectly willing to do it as long as everyone is civil. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. If they're not civil, things will change. That's all I'm saying. But as far as it goes, it's like, well, the other thing with this whole, separating art from artist, what they've done, what they're doing, and then they appear somewhere else or they've endorsed something else. It kind of has this strange thing of nobody's allowed to change.
Yeah.
Nobody accepts that people can be redeemed, which is a horrible thing to think. If what's the point of prison? Letting people out of prison? Are you telling me that once they've done something and they've gone into prison and they've been punished, under the eyes of the law, they're always going to be that wanker bastard who did X, Y, and Z?
Yeah. But people can change as well.
Well, they have to. Otherwise, they don't get on in life. I mean, that's the way I see it. But, what can you do? The Kevin Spacey thing is a perfectly good example. 1 minute he's, seen as ultra nonce. People have done this. Why? He's been charged in both the UK and the US, and in both cases, not found guilty. Okay? Yep. Whether or not you believe that, or whether or not you accept that, totally up to you. However, that is the simple result. Now, you can carry on denying all of Spacey's movies and never watching any of them again. That's fine. I don't give a fuck if I never watch K-Pax ever again. It really wasn't my thing. But the thing is, it's your choice. You make that decision. However, if you carry on that decision after he has been tried and found not guilty by a jury of his peers on 2 totally different continents, then you got to say, well, you obviously don't believe in the justice system, and you obviously don't believe anything about this guy at all, in which case you don't believe there's any kind of redemption, in which case it's a very closed-minded point of view.
Yeah.
And so, again, that's totally up to you if that's the way you feel. But, you've got to accept at some point that, people go to jail, people find, people do redeem themselves, people do try and make amends. Whether or not you believe that. People do get
falsely accused, especially when there's a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
Well, yes. There's been plenty of those around as well. And so that's the thing. It comes down ultimately to personal choice. But I think that's the key, personal choice. You can't dictate to anyone. I couldn't dictate to any of you 3 who to listen to and who not to listen to any more than you guys could do it to me. I understand if you decided for whatever reason not to watch or listen to or whatever someone, but don't judge me for going the other way.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of
I
where I feel.
You've got to make your own peace, haven't you?
You do have to make your own peace. Otherwise, you've got to stay true to yourself and your own moral code, and that's perfectly fine. But you can't turn around and just judge everyone else by that standard. You've got to let them make their own choices, make their own decisions, find their comfort zone with whatever it is. And, square that circle with them, that, they don't think this is a particularly big deal because they've already paid for X, Y, and Z DVD or, listen to someone's albums for the last 30 years. And now they've been found to do something wrong. And they're still listening to this album for the last 30 years because they've already paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You may judge them harshly, but I just think that'd be unfair. But, make your own peace. And do you know what? If anybody has an opinion on this, obviously leave it on the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/The Black Dog Podcast. But as I said before, keep it civil. Everyone's opinion is the right one to them. Okay?
Yep.
If you start getting a bit antsy on this one, Lord Thor Banhammer will come stomping in and give it a bit of a walloping. So, anyway, I think we'll leave it there. Because I was hoping we could be out of this by about 11:30, but it's midnight now.
Yep, it is.
So we'll wrap it up there. I think before we go, we'll leave. We'll think of a phrase that pays. What do you reckon? I've got so many inappropriate comments right now.
Yep, so have I.
Let's go through the quotes on this film. Go on, you do what you need to do, and I'll have a look at the quotes.
The quotes.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
There's got to be something there.
Okay. Well, before we go to the quotes, let's find out, Jim. It's your choice for the next episode. What are you going to be picking? And if you turn around and say the Gary Glitter story, I swear to God, I'm going to hang up.
No. Maniac Cup 2. No.
Oh, God. Nice.
I think after tonight, I should pick something like the best of Bob Ross, actually. But
oh, good Lord, yes, please.
Nice.
I'm going to go with my original choice.
Mm.
It's a bit of a wild card. I've not seen it, but I've heard good things.
Mm.
It is on Netflix, and I've been sort of meaning to watch it for ages.
Mm.
It is another sort of crime, black comedy sort of movie, starring Aubrey Plaza. And it's called Emily the Criminal.
Okay.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Well, offbeat crime movie. That could be interesting.
Okay. Emily
Might
the
be
Criminal.
awful. I've not seen it, but, I think the beauty of this show, you get a chance to give these things a whirl. We've had a good strike rate recently for blind buys.
Blind buys. Maybe we should make a jingle. Blind buys. Blind buys. Okay.
Yeah. To the tune
Misty
of Bright
Monocles,
Eyes.
as they used to be.
Yeah. Blind eyes.
I've got a phrase that pays, by the way.
Go on in.
You're happy. I hate that.
You're happy. I hate that. Nice.
Yeah.
Not loud and nasty. That's the only way it sticks, Dawn. Oh, you can take a pick from either of those.
Yeah.
You're loud and nasty. That's the only way it sticks, Dawn.
That's good.
Yeah. Or you're happy. I hate that. Take your pick. Either one of those is good. Right. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, next time when we come back in a fortnight's time, because I'm away next week, we will be watching Emily the Criminal, which is on Netflix. Now, has anyone seen this? Because I think I know the answer. For me, it's no. Darren?
No, not at all.
Elton?
No, I haven't. No.
And Jim, you've already admitted that it's a complete blind buy.
It is a blind buy.
Blind buy found on the random. Right, okay. Well, we will do that. And when we come back on, he says, checking the dates, on the 3rd of September. Yeah, because, when we come back on the 3rd of September, we'll be reviewing that. Right, so let's just go around the table on Pimp's Corner. So, Jim, what's happening on hypnagoria.com?
This week I've just released my latest edition of Kaiju History, looking at the original Lost World from 1925.
Nice. And what about you, Elton? What's happening over at Rogue 2?
Talking about cars going around in circles with Andy, and on the Band of Brothers podcast as well, which we're going to be recording an episode of Downfall.
Yeah, that's a happy, joy one, isn't it?
Fucking hell, that's amazing.
You want to talk about being cancelled? I think Hitler's kind of up there on that list, isn't he?
Yep.
Is it definitely in the top 10?
I think he's in the top 3.
Yeah.
Definitely top 3, right behind Satan, I think. Anyway, Darren.
Yep.
What podcast are you on other than this one?
Absolutely none whatsoever.
You sure? You sure you're not on the Great Derelict Alien Romulus special?
No, I'm not, because it's I'm on the Black Dog Alien Romulus special, but not a Derelict Alien Romulus special.
Okay. Well, I am. I'm on the Black Dog podcast Alien Romulus special with the Great Derelict, which you can also find over at thegreatderelict.libsyn.com, or you can listen to it on the blackdogpodcast.com. It's up to you. Take your pick. Both are live on that feed. So there you go. Right, that's it. So we shall wrap it up there. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton.
No problem.
Okie dokie. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time on the 3rd of September. Bloody hell, it's almost Christmas. When we will be reviewing Emily the Criminal. Until then, take care. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road, it's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll want to settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on.
Get out of the booth, Jack.
No, I like it in here.